Jill DeWitt with Jack
Jack Butala.
Butala here. Welcome to our call.
Hello, 16 people.
Happy Thursday. Oh, it's growing quickly though. That's usually how it goes. It's like right around this time. It goes the head count, I should say, rises quickly.
300.
Exactly. So good. Glad
Thank you
you are
for the
here.
sound check, too.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We're going to have Luke on in a few minutes after we go through some of our stuff.
Mhm. So, how do you want this to go right now, Jack?
Hmm.
We could start with Gene's question and we could tell him how.
Sure, Joe.
Okay. Gene, we're going to start with your question. Good question. And I'll read the question. Jack's going to answer it and he's going to explain how it relates to our poll. So, Gene asks, how long will deal review calls be on hiatus? When will they resume? And P.S. Love this. You guys have a very nice kitchen. Wondering if Jill designed it.
That's got to be
No,
from,
it's this kitchen.
I know, but it's got to be from the videos in
Yeah.
Offers to Owners.
Yeah. So yeah. So I designed the kitchen in the program. Let me back up. I did not design the kitchen that you see on Offers to Owners, but it is very similar, you'll notice. So, and where we are now, we have two kitchens.
This is our guest house kitchen.
Exactly. That's where Jack's studio
Jill's
is.
kitchen is nothing short of amazing.
Mine's different. Exactly. But very good question. I appreciate that. So, Jack, take it away. You want to answer?
Oh, yeah. So thank you for responding to the poll. The people that you've done, thank you very much for feeling 100% vote there. So thanks. We are rethinking the structure of the deal review because it's so popular, it gets packed. So for the last couple of weeks, I guess they've. It's not that we turned it off; it's just been packed. So Jill and I are kicking around the idea of actually doing a live program, so that like a live class, like a college class, where we literally buy property and set up your businesses and the whole thing. Instead of and people have been the reason that it came up is because so many people are asking us for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're here to help. And the poll confirmed it. If you're just joining us, please answer the poll because the program, the cash flow from land program, while the basic fundamentals never change, the tools that you use do. And there's always fresh new information the way the internet is, it's at the light of speed kind of thing. So we're kicking the idea around, and I would love for you to contact us via email with any suggestions that would really help. Offers to owners really, I mean, we're getting some unbelievable positive feedback because it's unlocking a bottleneck that I think for a lot of people, they couldn't get it in the mail, couldn't get the stuff in the mail. So that really helps. And so we really want to bring some sort of finality to it,
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Exactly. So yeah, my whole thing about this, or why we're doing this, is we can reach a bunch of people with our program. Check. We can reach one-on-one people with Jack's Live Consulting.
Yeah.
One, but that's check. But that's only one person at a time. So there are people who there's a bottleneck somewhere, and here, let me tell you what we're thinking. You could sign up for all of the classes, 3 of the classes,
Or one.
1 of the classes. So we want to make this where if you got everything but that one little piece, like picking a county, that's my one hang up. Okay, fine. You only want to do that one class, you can. So that's what we're talking about. It would be a weeknight. We want to make it so people could do it. Probably be like a 2 or 2.5 hour session. It'd be closed, private, online, interactive, um, and really hands on. Doing it with Jack.
Yeah.
So
And Joe.
like the yeah, and parts would be me. So like say the data and the pricing. Jack would be literally picking a county, pulling it, downloading, scrubbing it, ticking all the way
And getting into
through
the mail.
that point. And the sending the offers would be more of that, putting, and what goes into that. The due diligence, everything that Jack and I do when we're pulling up a property. So wherever because here's what I think. We've identified that there's some people that still need a little extra oomph. They're not, I mean, I read a comment that somebody said, and I believe this, just because it comes easy to us doesn't mean it comes easy to everyone. And that doesn't mean that everyone can't do it. So Jack and I, right?
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Like, but Jack and I want to take it one step further.
You're hilarious, Joe.
Thank you very much. To
You're
help,
adorable. I'm not making fun of you.
thank you. To help the individuals that have one little hang up and get them where they need to be. And I think this would do it. So thank you. We appreciate your feedback, and we're going to be asking probably more questions as we put this together. So watch your email. If we have questions, we'll get them out
I
to
would
you.
love to hear any thoughts or suggestions that you have right in the chat box here right
Yeah,
now too.
feel free. Thank you,
Or if we're
Kyria.
missing like if we're really missing something that you'd really like to
Like, yeah.
like us to address. For instance, I mean, we can do a whole class on buying houses
Hmm.
instead of waiting for the program to come out. I think we have a really unique way about how Jill and I buy houses. And so this again, to reiterate, I mean, we would literally buy land and houses through that course. If
Hmm.
I'm thinking like what, 10 or 20 people, Jill,
Yeah, that's what I'm
max.
thinking. So yeah, that's a good. So what Jack's saying is his house buying one, he would go all the way through the process where you guys would in real time in 6 or 8 weeks, whatever that program is, you've seen the transaction go all the way through.
I mean, you could.
I
No, I'm
mean,
just thinking about this. So they could do this while. I mean, I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull
they
the
could do it
data
too.
and do it. They could do right along with you,
Hmm.
step by step.
Exactly. Yep. Okay. Eric's loves the buy houses thing. Yep. Nighttime classes be helpful. Yep.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
already
We'll do it at like 6 p.m. or something.
exactly. That's what we were thinking, Marilyn, because we realize that one thing to take off a Thursday here and there, but it's hard to take off, you know, or a Wednesday or whatever for 8 weeks straight. That's hard to do. So good. Awesome. Well, thank you.
Good.
Want to start some
Well, that
questions?
went over okay.
Yeah.
We even do it for cars. I've done it with cars in the past, and man, that's if you're like a day trader junkie like Luke is. I mean, you want to turn 50 deals a day. You do it with cars.
Hmm. So here's our brainstorm idea, and this is where this was going, everyone, is that Jack and I are thinking that it's instead of waiting for the next program, like this would be the program, like Jack just says. So instead of waiting for the house thing, you would be doing it live in that classroom, a group of however many, it'd be a limited small number. I'm not talking anywhere, not a lot, where you really get the feedback. And that is the house program where it's
Hmm.
recorded and you have it and you walk away with it basically. You're in it and you have it forever. So it's like you have your own unique um,
Yeah.
education program that you would keep,
Right.
period. And then maybe you want to come back for the car one or the boat one or the plane one or the mobile home one or the apartment building one.
Yeah. Apartment
So
buildings.
and every time you get that.
Hey, speaking of apartment buildings, I just put this up on Offer Zones yesterday. Check this out. I put some data set samples up there, and we're getting a lot of requests about commercial real estate lately for some reason. And so I put a data set for apartment buildings in New York City, and I had some fun just looking through it. Jeez.
Oh, to answer your question, Tony, that they will be, so those classes, oh, hello, they will be recorded to view later only for the attendees.
Yeah,
That's the thing too. It's something because it's not. It's like basically the program that we just did and doing it again in a different way.
just for fun,
Yeah.
because we all love data. Go to O2O here in the form section and download this New York City most recent apartment building sales in New York City, according to RealQuest. It's a pretty small sample. It's not all of them by any stretch. I stopped it at 200 because it gets too big, but it's really interesting.
Mhm. Got it. Yeah, and I agree with you, Tony. That's what I was thinking too. Because then you have your own program to watch again and again and again.
Yeah.
We know. Here's my other thing I was going to add, and the reason I think this is beneficial. It's one thing to have a one-on-one session with Jack, but I'm sure most of us, I myself included, you hang up the phone, you're like, oh, I forgot to ask that. I forgot to ask this. If there's more than one of you in there, someone's going to probably think of a question that you would like to know the answer of because there's more than one of you and you can all benefit. That's like land investors. I'm sure you sit in landinvestors.com. I do. And someone asks one question, which leads to another question that goes, oh, yeah, you know what? I've been meaning to ask this. I forgot. It's that kind of a thing. So having a small group, I think would be really cool. So
Yeah, me too.
what's our, it's still, it's still a big yes. Okay, good. Should we want to go into our questions?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to jump into our questions.
Luke, if you're ready, bud, I'm gonna make you live with us.
Cool.
Hello, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hear you
Yeah.
perfectly.
Okay, good. Works.
Yay.
I don't know how I knew you were a day trader. It's posted somewhere on a bio somewhere.
I used to do that in like high school more though. That was
Were you successful at it?
oh yeah, I used to make pretty good money. I used to make money and throw parties with money. Yeah,
Right.
it worked for a while. Then the markets kind of changed and my schedule changed. I was more successful when I could trade like between classes, and then when class was out and I could trade all the time, then yeah, my success rate didn't work anymore. Like in retrospect, I should have just kept to my class schedule through the summer and after I graduated high school, and probably would have traded better by walking away from quotes for an hour or two at a time.
Yeah, I bet. Jill's before Jill's brother was a politician, he was a day trader and he had a seat on the exchange when you could buy one.
Nice.
And so when you remove the fees out of that and you're moving a ton of money just a tiny little bit, you can make some dough.
Yeah, I used to flip stuff like Dell for a 16th and try to do it like 20 times an hour or something. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
those kinds of trades.
He just walked away. Like
He sold it.
He walked away from the poker table when he was
He did.
at
That's what
the
my
best
mom
time
called
to
it.
get
My
in.
mom called it legalized gambling. Like, yeah, you're kind of right.
Like a lot of times,
Well, he
if
was
you're a
even,
chronic gambler, you walk away when you have no money left.
yeah, he started
But
working
he
on the
was
board. He
diametrically opposite.
on the floor in Chicago in the mercantile, and went on to do it, have his own company and crazy stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
funny. That's crazy. I could never. I wouldn't have the stomach for that. I look at that and I'm like, this is scary, man. The numbers that are thrown around, I'm like, no way.
Every single stock goes 0.1% in every direction every day, right, Luke?
Yeah, so like if you study it over time, the noise, of it bouncing back and forth,
Right.
that's the constant. Like the up and down, it happens, but it keeps bouncing back and forth. So what's the variable? Like how far does it go one way or the other? The beta, I guess you call it.
Mm-hmm.
And studying that is and how can you, buy on one side and sell on the other side? I mean, you can do it by hand as fast as you can enter orders and watch them go through. But over time, I bought an API system to like do it with Forex, so I
Yeah.
could trade the bounce in the Forex markets. So it was just a pip or two back and forth, and I figured the constant was the price going back and forth over time, and so I started writing the programs to buy on every blip and sell on every blip. So I was on both sides of the market, and then it would throw it back and forth and do the accounting. So my lot would be, marking up every lot just a little bit. And I thought I was a genius and going to make a killing. And it works so hard against me that, I'm like, this is even better. I just turn it around and use that strategy as a way to accumulate my position. So I'm always stuck on the side of the market that's moving. As the market moves one way or the other, my position grows exponentially. And so every pip it keeps moving in that direction, it just keeps going for more and more and more. So I reverse engineered what I thought was going to be genius and totally failed until it started paying really well. And then I did it on a bunch of different currency crosses because I was studying the statistics on each one of them, and it was like paying my rent and bills and stuff. That was going cool. And the crosses that it was working on, it would totally work on one side of the market, but not the other. Like if you reverse the crosses, it wouldn't work anymore. And I started figuring out the crosses that were working the best were the ones with the largest carry trade, like the ones where your trade was effectively borrowing cheap and loaning high, you know, the interest rates between the different countries. And I
Mm-hmm.
was just doing like a fancy carry trade, is what this program that I created was doing. I'm like, I don't have to do as much work and make sure my internet connection stays up all the time and run Linux systems so my Windows doesn't crash, and
Yeah.
like the highest speed internet I can buy and the fastest computers I can buy to keep it going and everything. I can just get on the positive side of the carry and go for a ride on the carry, and I can have my life back again. So I started doing that, and I got distracted with other stuff and I didn't keep
Like
up with it.
children.
Yeah, exactly.
Love
It
it.
That's
was
cool,
fun.
man.
That's
We
really
couldn't be
cool.
further off topic here.
I know. Should we jump into our
Sorry.
questions
Yeah.
and answers on here? They're packing
Yeah.
up. This is good. All right. JT asks, when buying land that is physically landlocked, one, do you pass? This doesn't meet one of the four A's. This is our first mailer. Thank you for that's good to know. Thank you. Two, if you can establish physical access, like need to contact a neighbor and get them to agree to open up a locked gate, and then four wheel it through trees on what seems to look like a road on parcel fact, do you advertise that feature and move forward on purchasing it? Three, do you lower the price for a property that's difficult to get to? This is great.
My answer,
All of both.
Luke, you should get into detail on this, but my real short answer is we almost always, no, physical access because of a locked gate. We almost always buy the property because that's really remediable. But landlocked property, absolutely no physical or legal access. We pass on it for sure.
And your first mailer, make it easier.
But before we pass on it, we call them back and say, I know we offered you $6,000 for this property. Here's the deal. Here's a picture of it. It's completely locked. So now we love it at 500.
Right.
And then they
Yeah.
usually take the deal. What do you
I
do,
think
Luke?
you start out with a price that doesn't matter. I mean, that's your
Mhm.
first offer, right? I mean, if he's going for more money and you're like doing due diligence on the property and there's no way to get there, it's a different story. But I mean, start out with a price so stinking low that it's like whatever, it's the ugliest one around, doesn't matter. It's still gonna sell for more. And so that part goes away. But with the caveat of it being some state like California or Arizona or somewhere that the access laws are more reasonable than like a Texas. Um, like you try to cross ranchers' land in Texas is a different story
I
than
see what you're saying.
crossing ranchers' land in open grazing country of Arizona or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think you kind of got to know a little bit about the area you're doing that in. Maybe a little bit of experience, and that helps. And I'm sure there's places in Texas where it's totally cool, but I don't know Texas well enough. Um, so that side of it, but like a deal I just had yesterday or day before, I forget, maybe it was 2 days ago. Guy calls back and he's got this 5 acre property, and he'll take my offer. And I pull it up while I'm talking to him on the phone, and there's no access to this thing. It's like crazy land.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a dirt trail off to the side, and he's telling me about this spring that's on the property and the trees and the stream that goes down it. I'm like, and I look at who the neighbor is, and it's the same name, like Mr. John or whatever. You own this property just to the south of it too? It's like, yeah, that's all my land. I own like 600 acres over there. you know?
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, so uh the access, how do I get to this property? And he's telling me the different routes, and they all go through his land. I'm like, but I'm not gonna, I'm
Yeah.
crossing your land. I sell it to somebody, they're crossing your land. Like, can I draw an easement
Yeah.
across this part of the land from this trail over to the property? And in this case, I said I'd do the northern 30 foot of one of the parcels that he has, and add that to the deed as an easement. And he's like, yeah, that's fine, no problem. So I just added an easement on there. And so
Nice.
now this 5 acre property I'm buying for like 6 grand or whatever, um, has paper access, and he's totally cool with someone to go build access because it'll help the value of his property.
That's cool.
That's another way of solving it. And then got into deeper conversation with the rest of his land and get an option deal on that. And I'm going to try to
Nice.
figure that out from there.
That's so
Awesome.
cool. JT added that the parcel in question is in Texas.
Yeah.
Speaking
So
of which,
There's a
so
yeah,
lot of stories about access. We don't mess with it. I would never, what Luke just described, I would never have gone down that path.
yeah.
There's
well,
just nothing we,
adding the access, you just
Hmm.
add
yeah,
it on the deed. It's the same name.
my answer, and we're just a deal mill here. We
Yeah,
just, I don't want to have to improve it or change it at all.
Right.
gotcha.
So I guess the answer for JT is we would, unless you want to do some of the things that Luke discussed, maybe when it's not your first mailer, those are good things, but maybe pass on it for now. Pick the easy ones.
Yeah, JT, I wouldn't mess around with any of this
Hmm.
on your first mailer.
Make it really easy because you
Yeah,
want
Yeah.
to flip and get out. So
I
that if you
wouldn't
send
even,
enough out, you'll be great.
I wouldn't even pay for someone to go out there and check out the access in Texas for some small dollar property. I mean, forget it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Move
Thank
on.
you.
Go buy some more mail.
Yep,
Perfect.
buy some mail.
You got
That's
it.
hilarious. Buy some mail. I'm going to use that.
Good. Tony asks, when someone asks for the best price you can do, how long do you make that best price available to them?
So I have a peeve about this, Tony.
Huh?
I call this negotiating with myself. All right.
Yeah.
I think we did a show on this, Joe. I don't, I learned this a long time ago when we were buying and selling healthcare facilities because everybody would say that. Well, so I would make an offer, right? Let's say it's 3 or 4 million bucks. Well, what's your best price? That is my best price. That's my offer.
Hmm.
And until they give another number, that's just the way it works. It's old school negotiation, which I'm not a big fan of either. But if I'm going to offer you 3 million bucks and they're going to say, no, that doesn't work, the deal's over.
Yeah.
If they say 3.2, now we have something to talk about.
Right.
That's my rule. What do you do, Luke?
Tell them, okay, I'll just buy the one across the street or the other side of the block, or
There you go.
I got
That's
20 other ones. I'm like sweating it. I don't have enough money to make it through this week with people taking my offers. Like, I can't offer you more money. I'll just take the other one.
hmm I love that.
You
That's
never want to give two numbers in a row. So if you have a $3 million number,
unless it
and
goes lower. Unless your next number's lower.
Yeah.
You know what? I
Tony
take it
says he's
back.
referring to property selling. I mean, it's the same exact thing.
Yeah,
If
you
you're
know.
asking $25,000 for the property, and they say, "What's your best price?" $25,000.
Yeah.
If you'd like to make me an
Go
offer, we can talk about it.
go look at the comps.
If your offer is $20,000, now we can talk about it. But I'm not going to give you two numbers in a row.
Right.
You can see how you can get caught up in that. Well, what's your best price? Well, I'm asking 25, but I really would take 15. No, I mean, what's your best price?
Right.
Well, maybe 14. No, really. What's your best price?
Yeah.
You
This
can't
is
see this
stuff.
because this is all audio, but my middle finger's up. That's my best price.
Yeah. And you know what? And that's funny, the selling thing too. It's like sometimes they're just, you know what? This is one of the indicators for me that they're not, maybe not be a real serious buyer, because a serious buyer will call me and go, all right, I want that one, and that one, and I'll give you, 15,000 for all three. Would you take it? Kind of thing.
That's a counter offer, and that's okay.
But yeah, I know. But they're calling me right out of the gate. Like, remember that I had this one lady. I don't know. It was like 48 parcels in one subdivision. Her family was buying a winery down there. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I do.
And she looked them up on our site, got all the APNs for me. There were no more than 3 phone calls in the whole transaction, and the first one was her calling me and saying, "I'll give you the X for all of them."
It was irrigated agricultural property.
Mhm.
I remember
She
that
got a
deal.
smoking deal. I
Yeah.
still made money, but she got a smoking deal.
Yeah.
So was a serious buyer. These people who want to hem and haw and stuff like that, Tony, move on.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you negotiate or whatever, you lower your price, someone's going to call you 2 days later and they would have paid full price and more, kind of thing. Because
Yeah.
that can happen.
Right.
So if you did everything right and you priced it right, like Jack's saying, I say stick to your guns.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
I sell it and turn right around. I'm answering the next call, and the next person wants it for full price or
Right.
something so much better terms, like all the time. It's just always another buyer right around the corner.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You told us the story it was 2 weeks ago, Luke, about you had 3 people trying to buy it and it wasn't technically, the ink wasn't dry yet.
If you want to sell a property,
Yeah.
all listeners, if you want to sell a property, put it on eBay. It will sell.
Fast.
You're not going to get the price that you want, but if you just want to churn it like it's day trading stock,
Yeah.
you will sell a property and you'll probably make money. You're just not. You're going to sell it for a rock bottom price.
Mhm. Huh. Okay, Kyria asks, Rowdy and I need a few pointers on sending a mailer for houses. Our daughter and her husband are living in an RV and need a house soon. Otherwise, we just wait until Jack's new program comes out. They want a fixer-upper. I don't know what data to look for, Jack.
Yeah. So the way that we pull data on houses is very similar to land. So they just pulled all the data for Torrance, California, and Los Angeles here. And you do the same thing that you do with land. You pick an area, and you pull all the data, and to price it, you look at a price per square foot versus price per acre or any of that. And it takes me a week to really dig deep and to price a mailer. But the first thing you start with is where you want to buy a house, and then hopefully there's some consistency in the ages of the house, and hold on to your hat, because the calls that you get on houses is way higher than land. The number of calls that you'll get, then you will buy a house.
You just want to buy one house? You want to buy like half dozen of them, sell
Because that's what's
5,
going to happen, Luke. You're
keep
right.
one for free.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's what's going to happen. You're going to end up buying 6.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing if you can do that. Peter asks, Florida land lots post hurricane.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I have to say something funny I saw about that. Okay. A buying opportunity with more sellers now afraid of hurricanes. How would you guess would affect resales short term and long term? And how would you change any planned mailings, if at all?
Go ahead, Joe.
I'm going to defer to you.
I don't play this game. I mean, for some reason, I just think there's bad karma in kicking people when they're down like that. So I just leave it alone. The same whole thing happened with what was it, Katrina?
Mm-hmm.
You could buy houses there for $100, and I don't know, Jill and I don't do that. So, but Luke might have a different answer.
Yeah, that's too quick. I mean, a lot of the people I've been talking to that have houses down there or whatever, they don't even know yet. Like they got a rental house, they don't even have a report of what's going on.
All right.
Vacant land, they're really not gonna know what's going on. I think you're too fast. You give it more time before you get in there and make them offers. And then who really cares? I mean, it's Florida. I mean, you get a hurricane every 10 years or something anyway, right? I mean, people still live there.
Yeah.
It's they'll forget. New people move in. It's land.
There's just too many other places to buy property. I mean, kind of just leave those people alone for a year. That's what I say.
Exactly. Jake asks, will offers to owners take data from multiple Excel spreadsheets from multiple counties? Do I need to add them together before sending over?
I personally would put them all in one spreadsheet and send them over.
It's cut and paste.
However, that said, you are more than welcome to, it doesn't cost you 1 cent more to submit, to create 10 submissions.
It's true.
And ask us, ask Jen, the person who runs the whole thing, to spread them out if you'd like. So if you have 10 spreadsheets, instead of doing it all at once, submit them all, check out, and ask her to spread them out however you want. One a day, one a month, one a minute, whatever you think.
Yeah, and that's something, by the way, I was going to share because I didn't know that the way it was handled before offers to owners was up. People were getting charged to do that.
Yeah.
Because I had people call me and go, "Are you guys going to?" I can't remember what the term was, but to spread out, do X amount a week kind of thing. And I'm like, "What do you mean? There's an extra charge?" I didn't know people were doing that, so we are not currently charging extra for that. Now, having said that, we're not going to do 20 a week or 20 a day. But if it's like 500 a week and it's a 2,000 unit mailer, absolutely. You can, and Jen will do it every Thursday or whatever day you tell her. And that does not cost
I just talked to somebody who sends out 30 letters a day.
What does that do?
I don't know.
What is that? What is that? Just to make sure the mail service works? I don't understand.
I think Park McCluskey teaches that.
Oh.
As many as fit in the mailbox. I don't know.
Yeah. That's really funny. Oh, okay. Peter asks, oh, you put that one in again. That was, sorry, I missed it. Sorry. Andy asks, oh, he would love a sneak piece in the house buying process. Good. That was for our survey there. All right, Sham God, bring it. You've got a couple here. I know, and I mean this in a really good way because I love it. Okay, so would you mind spending some time going over your processes once you have a deal? I'm curious about how to streamline the process, what you do and don't you worry about doing yourselves versus outsourcing. What are you most looking for or worried about when checking the work? Example, the correct names on the deeds, etc. Trying to be able to do volume and
Hmm.
not be an organizational mess.
It's a
Love it.
Luke Smith question waiting to
Perfect.
happen.
Yep.
I think I sent out 8 cashier checks this morning for different properties.
That's awesome.
Love it.
And that's kind of like my daily normal right now for the last couple of weeks. I sent out big mailer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just juggling them all. I mean, it's yeah, I'm making sure the HOA fees are in order because a lot of the ones I'm mailing right now have HOA fees. Um, I'm making sure the taxes are in order, or I'm negotiating with them on the fees, and that the purchase price is right and the location doesn't look something crazy. I'm making sure the owner is the owner, um, or I know how to do the paperwork on changing it around to get whoever needs to sign signed. Um, I got that recipe figured out for whatever it is already. I can stamp it out. Um, what am I outsourcing? I mean, I'm outsourcing hiring a notary, writing up the deed, pulling the deeds from the county. Calling a county, calling the assessor, getting the document or whatever they call it number. Different counties call it instrument number, whatever number. Get the reference of the deeds, and then calling the recorder and getting the deeds from them because a lot of the ones I'm doing right now are not in any of the databases. Um, so those calls, um, option agreements. I've been doing a lot of option agreements. Those are just checks. I mean, I'm doing like that many option agreements or something in a day too. So drawing up the option agreements and getting it into, I use Sign Now, like electronic signature stuff, get people to sign the option agreement. Um, Getting that all drawn up, ready for me to sign.
So you
Um,
batch it all out.
yeah, batch it out. Calling these title companies, like on the title close ones that I'm doing, getting updates like every day. Like put in a spreadsheet. What's today's update? Same as yesterday, basically. Waiting on this and that, and then yeah, just a lot of that's outsourced, and I'm taking calls. In the meantime, trying to close more deals. I put them in my spreadsheet, and my VAs slam it out.
That's
My
good.
number one thing that I look for a deal is how the property looks on the internet, because that's how fast it's going to sell. And so, and it was hard to do before Parcel Fact. Now with Parcel Fact, you can just click on it and the outlines there and download the pictures. When you're the first time you look it up from a due diligence standpoint, when you're on the phone with the guy, if you're in front of the computer, you can really see if you want to buy the property or not. So there's a lot of things that can be worked out. If the price of the property is really good and the quality of the property rocks, everything else pretty much within reason can be solved. So that's really what I look at. All that stuff, access, all of it can be solved
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like the
or
neighborhoods.
overlooked.
I'm mailing like neighborhood mailers in this last grouping, like very specific APN schemes, and I know what it looks like, before I even pull it up. But I'm looking at it while I'm talking to the person on the phone. I got it up on a couple different routes. I'm trying to do street view and stuff while I'm telling the person on the phone, notary's going to be calling you in a week with your cashier's check and chasing you down. At the same time, I'm looking at the property 2 minutes after they called, right?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got it narrowed down to like one phone call, so I don't ever want to have to call them back because lots of times they don't answer the phone.
That's right.
I don't want to chase them around. I want them to have to
Yep.
call me back or whatever. I
Exactly.
just want it all closed in that first call, like done. I'll
I,
call you
I
back if
agree.
there's something wrong, like if title's screwy or I find some, partner, wife cousin, whatever on there. Um, then I'll be calling you back, and the notary's not going to be calling you. It's going to be
Right.
me
Yeah,
asking questions later.
exactly.
They want that too. They want their money.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just tell them the
Most of the
money's coming.
things, let's say, Shamka, most of these things too, a lot of things are solvable. Like if the name's misspelled on the deed or something minor like that, things can be redone and you do it. But what you can't redo is spending too much money.
Yeah. Or
There's
buying a bad piece of property.
right, there's things you can't redo. So I guess those are the things that I check on. I mean, and I do a lot of that right away. I try not to get too far in the process without making sure I want it. Everybody's alive and well, and I know the taxes, I know the HOA things, and now I can really make a good decision.
Hmm.
So, and then when the other stuff just comes. So, good question. Andy asks, what do you think about sending letters to condo owners in ski towns?
I think that's
I think it's
brilliant.
brilliant. Yeah, that's a good.
We just had a customer. I'm really involved on a minute by minute basis at offers to owners because we just launched it with a tremendous amount of success, by the way. We just had somebody who called in and has no interest in ever looking into a spreadsheet at all, which is why we have the more expensive product, the full service product. And that's what he does for a living. He's an older guy. He buys condominiums that are vacation condominiums in 55 plus communities
Mhm.
with a tremendous amount of success, so he says.
Yep, it's brilliant. Peter asks, Cochise, Arizona, is there a big variance in area pricing? Or is it more about the attributes of the specific area? Any input on pricing offers there would be great.
Yeah, I mean, I know Cochise like the back of my hand. And I think that agricultural deal that you were talking about was in Cochise, right? That you just referred to? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah, there's a pretty big variance in pricing. If there's a lot of agricultural land that's
It's true.
and there's a lot of water. There's not a lot of water in Arizona, but the further south you get, like in Cochise, there is water. So
Right.
there's a kind of a variance in pricing. If you really just pay attention to Land and Farm and Land Watch, you'll see the price variances. It's not $100 an acre county anymore, and I think Luke's done well there too.
Isn't that where
Yeah,
Twin Lakes is?
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
and Cochise
And
College Park.
Wilcox and all that.
Yeah, I remember all those areas. And we had I think I still have a couple parcels
I
there
know we
right
do.
off a
We have a ton.
paved road with like a gorgeous ranch across the street.
Yeah,
And it's like farmland.
yeah, it's
And I'm like,
agricultural.
it's just kind of sitting in
Exactly.
our
I didn't know we
inventory.
still own that.
I think
That's
we
not good.
do. I know.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
I probably sold over 100 properties in Cochise in the last year. Um, lots of different people, different sizes, different parts of the county. And yeah, the prices definitely change over different parts of the county and different sizes. The different size properties it, it's not a price per acre kind of thing. The more depth you get into the zoning,
Yeah.
um, and the use of the properties there, and
Right.
how far you are from the main thoroughfares. And I don't think a lot of people understand about Cochise is it's legal to grow medical marijuana at any size operation you want to do. Like not 5, 10 plants or something like California recreational stuff. Like you can grow medical with a little bit of a permit. The permit's like $20. It takes like 2 weeks to get the permit, and they don't really turn anyone down unless you have a really pissed off neighbor. Um, so you get land in the middle of nowhere, and you go through the permitting on that. I tried to go through the permitting and permit up my land and sell it with the permits.
Oh,
But that would increase the value of a
hell yeah.
boatload. Um, the catcher I got trying to do that, a whole bunch of properties, is that the county guy asks, what's your plan for selling it? And I got to have a plan to get the stuff to market. And
Oh,
you got to
I
have a
was wondering, so the
logical plan.
license goes with you.
Or yeah, does it stay with the land?
I would think that the marijuana license would go with the individual, not the land, but
Yeah, but
is it,
if you could keep it with the land and mark up the value a ton,
yeah.
right?
Yeah?
Um, so if you can come up with a good plan to market the stuff, I didn't want to get that far into it, right?
Right.
A plan to market it and whether it's having a dispensary on your property or you got like some kind of deal with the one that's in the county in Douglas or you know, but you can't export it out of the county because there's border patrol all over the place. On every one of those major roads, there's
Yeah.
border patrol and they don't like it. And they don't want you in the marijuana business. They don't know if it's coming across the border, if it's coming from your farm or whatever. So
I
that
got it. Here's what
makes
you
it
should do,
tough.
Luke. Put a version of a lemonade stand on the property. So it comes with a license and a lemonade stand for marijuana to sell to
Marijuana
drive by.
stand,
That's what it
Yeah,
should be.
a dime bag for a nickel.
Now we'll sell
exactly.
it.
But you put
That's
that
my that's my
pair
business plan.
pair that marketing with the property and let the
Yeah.
buyer do it from there, right? Like
Exactly.
I'll send you the application and tell you where to turn it in. Um,
That's cool.
but it's
That'll work.
I would do that.
yeah,
That's awesome. Look, I've already done the homework. Here you go. Have
I mean,
fun.
that should be in the title.
Yeah.
yeah,
Agricultural land for sale for marijuana. Fill out the form here.
yep.
Perfect. That's awesome.
So you add that and the price of the land changes, you know,
That's good.
fully changes.
If we still have that property that's next
I
to that pecan
You
farm,
change it.
yeah, I
that's
think we
all got
maybe
water rights
do.
and everything.
I know.
Because we need another business.
We're working on
As
posting some of those
soon as I
stragglers that are still out there.
as soon as I tell a guy that's buying like 4 acres off me about that, they buy like 20 or 40 acres. I mean,
Mhm.
Yep.
I haven't been putting it on the internet. I just been telling them over the phone
That's
and
great.
they, you know, done, 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 done.
Isn't that nice? You don't even have to post it. You don't even get there. It's like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Tony asks, what is the status on solar farms? Are you still pursuing?
No, here's what happened, and I think he's on the call. As luck would have it, after we started talking about that, we have a member who is, like 20 plus year veteran of solar panels and the whole thing from the top, start to finish. And he talked me out of it. And all the stuff that he said made sense. We should have him on the show, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The equipment gets real obsolete really quickly, and getting paid, getting a provider agreement with utility companies is next to impossible, from what I understand. So we have other revenue sources anyway.
Right. Shamgod said, I just got a property in a contract that is in a trust, and 2 co-trustees are listed. Are these deals straightforward? Just get the trustees to sign off on the deed, or do I need to research what to do for each of these individual counties? For each of these individuals, county, I felt like they might be different in each area.
They're not.
Yeah.
It's not county specific.
Right.
And a trust should be treated just like an individual, just like an LLC. Just make sure that the person get a copy of the trust and it'll tell you what to do.
Yeah. Get a copy of the trust because it can be one person signing off or it needs both people to sign off. And there can be stipulations in the trust. Like they're not allowed to sell real estate. Like the person's, you know, what they can sell and can't sell, like in the brokerage business. A lot of times they couldn't do bonds or options or something weird, and you got to read through the trust and detail out what they can and can't do because some trusts restrict those things. So if you want to be proper about it, you really get a copy of the trust and read through what the trust says because each trust can be written differently.
Exactly.
The
And
power
you
of
don't
the
have to
trust.
record the trust. I keep it. I always keep it for my record, Shamgod. Should anything ever come back, you have that document.
Yeah, it's usually called the powers of the trust. So it'll be like the most trusts are put together well, have like a bibliography or whatever you call the beginning that says the different parts of the trust. And that part, powers of the trust. They don't have to send you the whole trust if they're trying to be private about whatever's in there. The powers of the trust, the signature page that shows the title, like those pieces. If you get those pieces, it'll tell you what you can do, and then you can see the people that sign, what their titles are. You put that on the trust, on
Exactly.
the deed.
If you work for Joe, you have to have the whole trust. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's
I
easier.
just
Just
asked
get the
what.
whole
It is
trust.
easier. It's all
Yeah.
one
Then I don't
PDF.
have to.
That's why.
Don't have
Yeah,
to. No one ever is going to ask questions like, "Where's pages 3 and 4?" It doesn't matter.
yeah. Some of the brokerage clients would be very secretive about what's in their trust,
Right.
and it's like a phone book thick with
Yeah.
who gets what, and they don't want anyone to know.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Jason asks, any thoughts on using a contract-based joint venture agreement as an instrument to take on a co-investor for a single property deal. It's cheaper than an LLC in California.
Yeah, I mean, I've never done it that way. I'm a big fan of the LLCs. So, and so we just do it. I mean, you can file an LLC, an expedited LLC in Arizona for, I think it's now like $90, and it's that fast, and it's like the
Yeah.
next day.
I think both ways would work, but where I think the questions start happening is what happens if someone passes on, someone gets sued, someone gets divorced. You know, those classic questions. What happens at tax time? Who's the tax matters partner? Who's going to be doing the taxes? Who's responsible to make sure the taxes are paid
Mhm.
and reported? Like, are they going on your name or my name, or we splitting them in 50 different deals and splitting this between the two of us? Like, how are we going to keep track of this? If it's in an LLC and you got books for the LLC, and you're doing like a 1065 on the LLC that makes K1s for each partner, it says your percentage is this and
That's
your
right.
percentage is that. You got to put this on your taxes and you got to
That's
put
right.
that on your taxes. It's
Mhm.
laid out in a way because of all those problems that come up. I mean, the LLC is structured for that. That's why
We have a
people use LLC.
templated operating agreement that states every single one of those things. And
Yeah.
whenever we take on partners like that, I tell them, please read it all, but nothing's going to change.
Mhm.
And because it's dramatically in their favor, by the way.
Mhm. Exactly. Minam asks, "Hey Jack and Jill, thought it would be nice to get your inspiration since you guys are so awesome. Thank you. Sent a mailer back in July, but had only one person really serious to sell, and it's been about 2 months. Had some conversations by phone, and now they aren't responding back anymore. Should I keep trying to call or just send another mailer out somewhere else? I thought that I priced things right around 20% of the lowest, but it seems like I may have goofed up somewhere else. I know Minam is still learning, not quite in our silver level, so it doesn't have all the tips and tricks and things that we have. So, but to help you out initially, send out more mail. That's the first fix. I never chase anybody. They're in or
Yeah.
they're out. I'm not going to waste my time. I wouldn't even bother. Yeah, and when we say send mail, I mean, this is one of the things that when you get to the program, you will learn and you'll know. When we test a county, it's 1,500 mailers. It's not 50. It's
Or
1,500
maybe way
or
more.
more.
I mean, I
Or
haven't
Luke is
sent a
6,000.
for us, it's that too. I mean, I don't send a mailer out that's not. This is land, not
Mm-hmm.
houses. That's
Yeah.
not 5,000, maybe 10.
Right.
I mean, Luke, have you ever been just stump? I mean, you didn't get any calls back at all.
Yeah. I had the great idea to mail some Arkansas bigger acreage. I got smoked on that. Like northern Michigan, I thought I'd buy some acreage up there. I think my pricing was just out to lunch. California address and stuff. That didn't work.
Yeah.
I
So there's
got
lots of
more
different
hate.
things. You know what
Got
else
more
too,
There's some
Minam?
angry ass people in Michigan. I'm here to tell you.
We,
more
you know
hate
what?
about my address than the price.
Right.
Um,
What is it?
You
One
sh-
Oceanside or something like that?
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That's right. You know what else too? Back then, I don't know what your template looks like, but I can tell you right now. I have a secret.
Go ahead.
Do your mail through offers to owners. You can use our template. You don't have to be in our program, and Jen has our template.
Yeah.
So you can automatically be. That's going to up your strike percentage right there.
20% of the lowest price is pretty darn low. We scrape the bottom at 40% for land at the reasonably lowest price. And that's scraping it pretty low. I mean, do you
Mhm.
scrape pretty low, Luke?
Um, so the offer price, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's different variables, right? Like some of the neighborhoods I get a little tighter in because they're just going to be that much easier to sell.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's different contexts than just the percent of the market. I mean, you look at how many days those things are on the market that sold. If you can see that kind of data, like the Redfin stuff you're talking about in the past,
Mm-hmm.
you pull up one of these neighborhoods and 5 properties just sold in the last week and they were on the market for like less than a week each. And do I need to buy them at 20% of the market? No. I mean, I could buy them at half the market and sell them at 3/4 of the market. Maybe I'm out there a week instead of 3 days. Um, you know, like
Exactly.
they're
Right.
there's different variables. Like Cochise County, guy was asking about Cochise County. I mean, yeah, I've sold a bunch of properties in Cochise County, but the days on market for those properties, I mean, come on, they get ridiculous. Compared to other ones, they sit around forever before they sell.
Mm-hmm.
They sell. It's good uh, bread and butter kinds of stuff. It's not high margins, but it just keeps happening. Couple sell, couple sell, couple sell. Um, just going on and on and on over time. But they're not fast. They're not flash in the pan, turn around quick, got your capital back, go slam some more deals. Um, that variable is huge when it comes to what you're pricing the properties at.
Yeah.
Good
That's
advice.
that's true. That we talked about that a little bit last week about pricing and doing it right is not something you sit down in an hour. You want to
Yeah.
spend some time on it.
That's why I think this live class
I think so too. It's
was
going to
so important
solve a lot of
because
that.
you can't teach it. You just have to sit there and watch somebody else kind of do it. I don't know.
And
Because
then,
like if I watched Luke do it, I would learn a lot.
mhm, exactly.
Or maybe I would learn not what to do. I don't know.
Not, you're silly. Shamgod asked, just got a property under contract that comps around $12,000. And notice it has lots of slope on just 1 acre. This is like, how much slope is too much slope we were talking
Mm-hmm.
about. It's under contract for $1,500. Buy it or scrap it, since I assume a sloped 1 acre piece a buyer couldn't do much with. I don't know. I think
Slope
if
doesn't scare me.
yeah, for $1,500 and the comps are 12. So what if you let it go for 4?
Yeah.
I think that's
Those
great.
are good numbers, Joe.
You
I
should
agree.
see
$4,000.
you should see some of the slopes around here people build houses on just so they
Yeah,
can see the
exactly.
ocean. They're looking at the ocean though, right? They're not looking at a swamp. They're not looking at a desert. They're looking at the ocean. And so if that slope is looking off over something cool and some neat area, um, that could be a positive. It could be a
Yeah.
really nice attribute to the property because it gets the trees out of the way or it gets the neighbors out of the way or whatever. So you can see off. You can see the sunrise. You can see the sunset. I don't know what it is. You can see something, right? What is that something? Is it a mine? I hope not. you know, but
An
You
acre.
see Luke's pot establishment along
yeah,
the
Yeah,
roadside.
pot plants grow up no matter what the slope
yeah,
is. They go straight up.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An acre is 43,500 square feet. I'm betting that there's 2,000 square feet somewhere on there that's flat.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I always say.
That's
It
good.
doesn't need to be that flat to build on it. You could do pilings and
Yeah.
piers and hang it off. You start running into fire danger in some places. You gotta look at that, like
Mudslides.
mudslides and others. Then getting rid of the septic is where I get in trouble buying the sloped ones. Like trying to figure out if you can get rid of the septic or not, what the zoning lets you do. Do they let you get creative? Do they make you stick it into the ground in the old huge area of ground? Asking septic systems are really cheap that don't work on the side of the hill because it just spits out the side of the hill.
It
Um,
flows back in.
yeah, it doesn't work on the side of a hill.
No.
But if you there's fancier septic systems you can use that are enclosed. You can put them in the basement and they're like clean
Yeah.
water comes out the other end. They
Isn't that
cost
cool?
more, but does the county let you do it? Are they progressive? If they're a more progressive county, they let you do that kind of stuff. Great. I mean, a lot of those things, they say, well, if it's within something universal building code or whatever, you're fine. Some of those sweet septic systems are. They've never heard of them or never seen them.
They
They're on
haven't said
YouTube.
no yet.
They haven't said no yet. They haven't seen anybody try it. You could be the first one. So your unbuildable lot, add on a $20,000 septic system becomes a buildable lot. And the neighbors on the flatland might be a $50,000 property. You might be a $5,000 property with a $20,000 septic solution. You're way cheaper. And so there's a lot of variables looking at these properties.
That's one of the things that I love right now too, for the people who are just getting into this business now. It is so different from what it was
Oh my gosh.
10 years ago. We didn't have this stuff. Tiny houses were not cool. No one even knew what that was. And all these solar and fantastic solutions that have gotten cheaper and easier and smaller have solved all those things. So, right, Jack? It's like,
It's amazing what's possible now.
yeah,
I
The
got
original
video.
tiny house is called an RV, by the way.
there
Yeah,
you go.
I got videos on my website and like the frequently asked questions part that I'm always referring people to for like less than $1,000. You can build your own enclosed septic system and you
Hmm.
can put it in a shed or a basement or outside. You could bury it too, but I mean you can do above ground ones where the water comes out the other side that's cleaner than the wastewater treatment plants.
Right.
And you put that into your lawn, your yard, your trees, your all that stuff. Um, they use IBC totes and PVC plumbing to hook them together and bubblers from like the fish store, to add some aeration. And they're sealed systems that they don't smell.
Hmm.
Um, and you get really clean water out the other side. And it's stuff that you can set up on a weekend. It's like DIY instructions, YouTube video instructions,
Yep.
show you how to do it. Hopefully you got it downhill from where you're dumping all your stuff, or add a pump if it's uphill, and the
Right.
price goes up a little bit.
I stopped listening to the county on that years and years and years ago.
Right.
It's unbuildable because you need to have 3/4 of an acre to put a septic system in, and it was a joke even 10 years ago, actually.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. You're right.
that's the cheap old fashioned septic system.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Sham got asked, I posted this on the forum and decided not to do the deal. Is this a good or a bad decision? Okay, so here we go. Purchase price $10,000, has no road access. The comps for things with road access are between $35,000 and $65,000. The comps are for properties with road access. The property I have under contract, this is what it was, a few parcels away from the closest road. So it'd be difficult to get to the property because the area is completely covered in trees. It's a small lot,
Mm.
1/5 of an acre. That right
That's a
there, it does
problem.
it for me.
Me too.
I was okay
Yeah.
until the size. A fifth of an acre. So my buyer would likely be someone who wants to put a home on it and is okay waiting to do it, or someone who's going to invest and wait for someone to build out the subdivision. Has anyone here done these types of deals? And if so, how was the response when trying to sell? It's unlikely the seller will do an option deal. Again, it's super close to the road, but this platted subdivision doesn't have roads yet, and the city doesn't know if and when they would.
So
I would have
it probably
passed.
has legal access, but not physical access. And my question is, Sham got somewhere here, either on the chat or at the end of the questions. Is this an infill lot deal, or is it just way the heck out somewhere? Are there homes in the area, in the immediate area?
I would have passed.
If
'Cause
it's like Topanga
yes,
Canyon,
lots of homes. He says lots of homes. So I
like
I would look at this deal again.
it
I,
sounds
I
like
love these kinds of deals.
there's those kinds of deals in like Topanga Canyon in LA. Like you got these small lots that you can't really get to very easily that everyone says are unbuildable. But a lot of the locals, because the prices are so crazy around the area, are doing like tiny homes, small homes, and things on them.
Hmm.
And they're running with it. And so people that have had them forever have always heard they're unbuildable, want to get rid of them. And then other people, new age, star children types, um, you know what I mean?
I
Love it.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want them like no tomorrow. And
There's a bunch of people like that in Jill's family.
yeah, yeah, depends on the area. Totally.
Myself included.
Exactly.
So I love it.
Have
Well,
you,
now
have
wait.
you ever seen Dharma and Greg, the show? That's what goes on in our house
That's
all the time.
exactly it. That's totally it. All right. Wait, now, okay. Now, Shamgat said that he said lots of homes, but the subdivision doesn't have any, Jack. And if I should keep looking at it, what's my next move?
Yeah,
It's
it's
small.
impossible.
It's a fifth of a lot.
Yeah, but it's an info lot, and it's a situation like what. First of all, if you want to sell it on terms, I would really look at this again. For cash, maybe not. It's
Or
impossible
option.
for me to say without looking at the property. If you want to send us the APN, I mean, if you're into that, I'll pull it up on Parcel Fact, and we'll look at it, and I'll give you a definitive answer in 3 seconds. But if you don't want to because you don't want to share it with everybody, I completely understand.
Just option it and take out the risk, and then
Yeah.
let the buyer
true.
figure out if it's going to work for them or not. And
Yeah,
then
no matter what, put an ad in Craigslist without disclosing the actual APN. And if 35 people respond to it quickly, then
He
oh,
said
okay,
he's
he's got
got
an
an
ad.
ad
Okay, good.
running. He's talked to the utilities right, and no
No
responses.
responses. Yeah.
Everybody says it's really expensive. You know what? This is almost like
Good.
I'm guessing, Shamgod, from the time that we've spent talking, you've been spent talking about with us, and you've spent losing sleep over this decision, and you posted it and everything, that you should move on, that you could spend this
Yeah.
time on another better property.
I agree.
Thank you. And then he has a follow up. Am I making a mistake by doing such a wide variety of deals
No.
while I'm just starting out?
Mm-mm.
Seems like I'm spending most of my time trying to figure out answers to a really wide range of questions. That's true. But the big ones you got, since I'm not doing one type of deal, example, 5-acre desert land, right?
That's a personal preference, but I would do stuff the way that you're doing this too. I call it baptism by fire.
Because you're going to learn stuff. This is kind of cool. Like the stuff Luke was just sharing. So, one county, you're going to learn all the septic and all these things. And you're going to know, okay, well, wait a minute. How much do you guys charge to put in a road? Because I know over here it only costs this much money. Let's talk about this. And then, I know you can get a septic tank for this online and, blah, blah, blah. So, you're going to figure out a lot of these things anyway. So, I don't think it's crazy too. So, good stuff.
What do you think, Luke? I mean, you shotgun the whole thing all the time anyway, right?
Yeah, just option it. I mean, like I just put the order in. The thing would be up for sale on the website by the time I wake up in the morning, and you could make a video about it, see if anyone bites. And you'll learn from the shoppers. They'll go over there and be like, I'm trying to get to the property and there's a locked gate. I'm like, oh, that sucks. Did you try going this way, that way, Or I'm on the property, there's a bunch of trees, like, oh, they got there, great. Like,
Yeah.
you just hear from them. Let them do your research, see if they want it or not. And it sometimes it's 2, 3, or 5, or 10 of them that go check it out and tell you everything that's wrong before one of them just buys it.
Yeah, that's good. I love it. All right, Curious asked, we sent out a micro mailer to South Texas before Harvey. Got a couple possibles again before Harvey. In this area,
Hurricane.
it flooded last year and this year. Should we pass on buying or get creative?
That's your call. I mean, I don't know. Again, we don't do the hurricane thing at all. So, I don't know.
Water dries right up. It's already gone, right? I mean,
Right.
or am I out to lunch? I don't watch the news much. I'm too busy.
I don't
But
either.
Yeah.
I think by the time you got the thing up for sale, water's already gone.
I don't think flooding. I mean, I bought property. We still buy property on your floodplains and stuff. That none of that scares me. I don't, for some reason.
Yeah, you started this before this whole process. You weren't trying. I know Curia too. She would never try to
That's
take
right.
advantage of anybody. So I know that's not what this is. Would we be afraid of it? No, I guess we're all saying no. So yeah, I'm with that. And
What do you look for in a piece of land, Jill? I mean, seriously, what trips your thing, either positively or negatively?
my biggest thing, honestly, is going to be size and attribute. And then I don't know. I'm not so access figured out later.
Yeah.
Not really worried about it. But
What turns you
lighting.
off immediately? Like, oh my God, there's no way I would buy this property. Except
Uh,
price.
oh, what else turns me off?
Yeah.
For me, well, see, this is me. So I stopped putting me into the equation. But if I'm buying property, I don't want to be that far out there.
Oh, you mean no, not you, but I mean as an investor, not property owner.
Ew, what really turns me off? It's usually there's something about the transaction. It's too hard to complete the transaction.
I agree.
Then I go, and we're out.
Yep.
Like, oh, but I got to find my brother. Last I talked to him, he's somewhere 2 states over, and I don't know when. And I think I have a good number. Let me look. And they put the phone down. They go, look. Then I'm like, and I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't care if they want to give it to me at this point.
Yeah, they're overseas and they're like, good luck doing a notary close. You can't even nobody to notarize a deed, even if you did a title close. Like,
bingo.
And yeah, the other one that gets me is taxes. Like the taxes are back crazy something back. Yeah. It just tells me something about the person. I mean, they're bad at doing the paperwork. They're bad at showing up for appointments. They're bad at paying HOA fees or whatever other bills I never thought to check for. Like all those things are probably not happening. And if I bought the thing on a notary close and I got to go back to him later because the guy's buying it through title close, like, oh, come on. trying to
Yeah.
get the paperwork out of them to close it. It's not going to happen.
Right.
Um, it's targeting those people, like some other gurus say to do. It doesn't make any sense to me. Those
I
are
agree.
the absolute worst
Mhm.
ones to do paperwork with and do
Exactly.
deals with. It's like a concentrator of the worst people. It
Right.
just points them out with a red flag. Here's a big tax bill. Yeah, great.
This is
Um,
clearly a part. You're right. I see it as clearly a problem property, and I'm not doing that. There's too
yeah,
many good ones. That's it. If it was ever a possibility that we'd run out of good deals, and I'm stuck with those, but still, I'm not worried about it. There's too many good
there's
things.
Yeah.
a lady who works with me that keeps pointing out to me, um, this one doesn't sell. This is the one that went to back tax 3 times in a row before we bought it. Like, why do you keep buying these ones that went to back tax? You know, they went to the tax auction or whatever again and again and again, not just from the person we bought it from, but from the person they bought it from. They bought it from tax. You know, like
Yeah.
nobody pays the tax in this property again and again and again. There's another red flag. Like, you look
Hmm.
at the deed history of it, like, what is wrong with that thing? You know,
Hmm.
Hmm.
I don't want to fall for the same trick.
Exactly. I see you, Kelly, and I hear you. So hang in there. Um, she's in South Texas.
Oh.
Greg asked, I'm running into a decent amount of properties that are owned by someone with a partial interest. Here's another thing that I don't like. So these are ones we could sell for $100,000 and up. So there's some good potential if we were able to purchase them. Keyword meaning if. Has anyone had any success in trying to get all the owners on the same page to purchase these? Or is this a rabbit hole of wasted time not worth pursuing?
Here's my question, Greg. Are the partial interests assigned a separate APN? And you can just type it in anywhere. Or are the partial interests just they're all on one deed
Joint
and,
tenants or
somebody's uncle or some whatever. Yeah, joint tenants.
I hit Kern County, California, and
oh.
I didn't realize that they had separate APNs for partial interest in the properties when I mailed it. And I
Hmm.
scrubbed for, like, all different names and addresses and stuff. And I still got people that call back on the same property. I like look up the property while I'm talking to them, like, someone else just called about this property. Oh yeah, they had 128th of the property,
Oh my
and you
gosh.
got 100,
Yeah.
128th of the property too. Like, can I put a couple of these people together? No, because there's like another 100 people that didn't call that I sent letters to for the same stupid property. Um,
Mm.
Totally confusing, and it took me a while to figure it out. I finally, on the county website, you can like look at it, and it says their interest of ownership. Um, it wasn't clear in the RealQuest data that they were a partial owner. I didn't see
Yeah.
that anywhere. I wasn't looking for it. I had never run into that problem before until I mailed that county. And yeah, talk about a lot of wasted mail. I started figuring out, like, the way the APN structure was. The last couple numbers on the APN represented, um, partial interest owner number 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
and that ticked up on the end. If I would have taken all the parcels out that had those last 3 digits, I would have gotten rid of all the, I don't remember, it's 3 digits or 4 digits or
Yeah.
whatever, the last bit of digits on the end of the APN. I would have got rid of all those partial owners. Um, but tons of them wanted to sell, like, awesome properties for no
Yeah.
money. And
Those are good back tax properties. And by
yeah,
the way, Kern is really one of the only places I've ever run into that for some reason there was a blip in time, and they don't do it anymore, obviously, but they don't issue separate APNs
Mhm.
any longer. And Kern is really there's one or two counties in the whole country that I know of. So
It's
don't
yeah,
worry about it. If you're new to this, or don't worry about it unless you're mailing Kern.
Yeah. Well,
so
Greg
yeah,
put in that they're all in one deed, and some just have a few owners, like two or three, and some way more. And so my response is, are you an investor or are you a private investigator?
No, but I know what he's going for, Greg. The
I
product type
do.
that you're going for, and I know where you're doing it. I mean, because he nets 6 digits on each deal. That's what he's in this for. So yeah, I would actually look into this and see if everybody's alive, and it's worth looking into, in my opinion.
yeah.
Or I would put it under contract, because you're going to go through title on all their huge deals, and I would try to let the title company try to figure it out for you. Put as many
Yeah.
under contract as you can and let the title company figure it out.
I had a guy call me off one of the mailers, and that's all he does all day long is he finds owners of people's land for realtors and people that are trying to buy land. He's a private
That's cool.
investigator.
There we go.
That's his specialty.
You and
He
Greg should
lives
get
in
together, man.
Rancho Santa Fe, like the most expensive or maybe second most expensive neighborhood in the country. And one of those big fancy houses, and that's all he does. I'm sure he charges a bunch for it, and he was trying to do deals with me, but I yeah, I skip the deals at my size properties and move on. But yeah, for the right dollar amount, you hire one of those private investigator guys. They'll go find everybody. They'll track them all down, their grandkids and everyone.
I know what you're accomplishing, Greg, or trying to accomplish, and you could use a guy like that. That could be your whole business model. That could be it right there.
Yeah,
You do 3 or 4 deals a year and you're done.
Sure. Because no one else can find
That's
them.
exactly right.
he
That's a good point.
specializes in it. He used to be some kind of, I forget what his background was, like police something.
Mhm.
And then he went to private investigation for real estate deals. That's all he does. Like
Brilliant.
high dollar real estate deals.
He has the inside track, so that's
Can you
cool.
email me his name? There's a deal we're working on right now that we could use that on,
Cool.
actually. If you don't mind, Luke.
I know I
Okay.
wrote it down, but I don't have it like super accessible. I'll try to find it.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Eric asks, a newbie here, thanks for the help and patience. It took me a while to figure out how to get the mailers out, and by the time I did, I had pulled 4,500 records. I had them sent out a few weeks ago. Oh man, many people responding.
Ding,
This is
ding.
awesome.
For you.
This is good, Eric. I will continue to watch the videos and figure it out. Oh, this is good. It's like, oh gosh, quick, now what do I do? I love this. This is so good. I will continue to watch the videos and figure it out. I was looking forward to a deal review and I hope it comes back soon. Looks like many of you are very helpful on land investors. Oh, good. And I'd like to post questions on land investors and thank anyone here in advance. Thanks. Thank you. That offers advice. Cool. I would sign up today for any future class you put out. It would give me a great deal more confidence on pulling the trigger on larger parcels for higher dollars. It's time to buy some of the parcels people are calling me about. I need to figure out final due diligence and deed writing now. I'm loving learning the system.
This is
I'm
great.
so glad.
Good, Eric. I'm glad you
Hey.
figured it out so far.
I'm glad that you just kind of went for it. That's the best way.
All right.
How many people? I'll tell you, Eric. So many people, they got it. They know they got it, and pushing the button, it's like, I don't know. It's like a new job and answering the phone. They're a little freaked out, and I'm glad you just dove right in.
I'll open up next week, Thursday. I'm going to do it right now while Jill answers the last question.
Well,
And you can schedule a call then
cool.
for a deal review.
Andy asked, where is the best place to find total days on market for sold properties? So my question is, houses or land?
Yeah, that's my question too. For houses, it's Redfin, if the coverage is there. But I will tell you, this is why, in anticipating your question, I put these data examples up for a reason. So if you go to offers to owners and go to forms and stuff, download these data examples, all 3, the commercial property, housing, and land, and then the 6th or 7th column from the end is called completed sale date or completed sale. And that'll give you the days on market. It won't give you days on market, but it'll give you, when it's sold.
What it's sold for. Yeah.
So for houses, Redfin's a fantastic days on market source. I mean, what else do you use, Luke?
Yeah, Redfin's the only one I've really seen the days on market, easily sortable by a lot of stuff to just get land that's sold in the area you're looking at. But it doesn't cover lots of areas. Lots of areas that I'm interested in is not covered by Redfin. So I mean, you can look at Zillow, Sold. Yeah. Their data is
I hate Zillow.
It's just fake stuff.
It's a tease. Zillow and Truly they just tease you with bad
That's
information.
what I think. I don't think they're really. It doesn't seem accurate to me. It seems like it's an afterthought.
Right.
And then, I'm sure some of the properties sold, they never circle back around and update them, close them, whatever. It just sits there.
Yeah. My listings get on there. I don't even put them on there. They get syndicated from Landwatch or wherever. And there's no way to edit them. There's no way to change them. There's no way to take them off. They're still there. People call me. I'm like, I can't take it off. There's no way to get it off. it's off of
Mm,
Land Watch and it's still on Zillow. Doesn't happen all the time, but some of them, just like that data feed. So I see my stuff polluting it up, and
okay.
I know other people are getting in the same boat.
All
Just
right.
flag them,
Cool.
flag them.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, we got one more here. All right. We'll do Peter's and then wrap it up. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Peter asks, would you offer owner financing on a tax sale property if it is in the redemption period, as some states have a long redemption times? I suspect redemption risk is very low, but maybe not zero.
I
You
think
suspect correct.
redemption risk is as close to zero as you can get.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Would I do it on a $42 million office building? No. But for this asset type, I think you're going to be okay.
Is he trying to do owner financing without paying the back taxes, or just he's expecting the buyer to pay the taxes? And I mean, you still get the tax bills if you're doing owner financing the way that I do it. It's in my name, and I still get the tax bill. And then I point them out to the person that's doing the financing, like, "Hey, you got to pay this. You got to pay this. I'm just going to add it on to your bill." Next credit card charge going through is having the tax on it. And if I bought it from a tax sale, I don't know why that matters. Bought it from a tax sale, why not? What, you just do owner financing or cash? Doesn't matter, does it? It just matters if you try to close through title. The title gets weird about it. I think
Yeah.
that's the place it would matter if you're buying it in a tax sale.
I feel so good about these properties. I see them the other way.
I do too, Jill.
That's my thing because I know so many years and so many steps and things have already passed to get to this point. And then it's like when the county takes it back, it's usually by the time they often get around to doing their annual or biannual, sales. A lot of them aren't that often, then 6 more months have passed. So I love them, and I've never had any issues ever. And and I've never had a person, a buyer from me saying, "Oh, it came from a treasurer's deed to you." They never question it. They don't even know what that means.
There's some quirky laws in certain places that you can actually, if you walk, it's not without doing a lot of paperwork and going through a legal action, but you can walk in 6 months after the sale and claim your property back. But the chances of really going through all the hassle and all that, unless it's really like there's oil there, it's just probably not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Go build a diamond mine on it after they lost it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Luke, when you were starting this, I have a couple questions for you at the end here.
Yeah.
What were you concerned about, and what hung you up, if anything?
Like the resale of the properties, like how are they really going to sell for more? How long is it going to take? I mean, I was worried about that, but they started selling pretty fast. I mean, the first one I got was off of free property that you guys gave me for signing up for the program, and I paid. Oh, I don't know if you want the numbers out there because I think you changed the price of the program over time, but paid whatever for the program, and I sold the property that you gave me for free for more than double what I paid for the program. So
Luke has golden
that's like,
fingertips or something.
yeah. I put it on eBay. I put it on eBay for $1, and it sold for a bunch more. And
That was Elko.
It was. I
Elko,
remember
It's
that.
Elko 10.
Because Luke was like
Elko
number
10.
I remember that.
He was like the third
I had
person.
3 of them, and they were like
Yeah.
overnight gone.
Yeah, Elko 10. It's awesome.
Yep.
I bought and sold I don't know how many Elko 10 acres since then. Like I bought a bunch of them. So Elko 10 is another one of those bread and butter places. You can always buy them for like $1,000, and you can always sell them for like 2,
Mhm.
and or maybe 3 depending on the property, or more sometimes. But yeah, just really simple market. So I get rid of those worries. I mean, the worries of really doing this, I was worried about lots of people sending out the same letters to the same places, and how long can this last? I think that was a big worry. And people would call me back and like, I got one of these letters from someone else, but I'm still selling to you. That kind of gets rid of that worry. Like, yeah, I'd even offer them a lower price. My letter's fresher, and they'd still take my offer. Um,
So you're not worried about that anymore, saturation?
yeah, I'm not worried about that. The saturation of the market. There's a lot of different properties. Like, I don't necessarily want to go mail Elko 10 acres all day long, and just make my business out of Elko 10 acres because it's a small market. Yeah, you can sell them like what, one a week or something, but
Mhm.
not, you can't sell like 100 a week. Um, the market's not thick enough for that. So just go to broaden up and add other sectors of the market on. And now I've been skipping up in dollar size transactions a little bit more.
Good.
And the people that are calling back, I mean, some of them say they've had letters before, but most of them have never seen one of these letters before.
And
And
amazing.
yeah, they want to sell, they're doing the deals. Happy I mailed them an offer. And
Good.
I think as I skip up in dollar prices even more over time, less and less and less competition.
Yeah, exactly. Well said.
That's
If
good.
you're worried about saturation in any way, then just send mail to obscure places. I mean, I'm not ever worried about it. We still get calls every single week from
Oh,
places like Cochise, Arizona,
Yeah,
in
or
Kern County,
Mojave.
you know.
Like
And I haven't mailed those places in years and years and years.
exactly.
So
people
why
still
they would
reach
come?
out and they try to sell me Mojave properties. Like
Hmm.
everybody and their brothers sent mail to Mojave.
Right.
Like people will call back and stop sending me mail. I'm like, I haven't mailed there in over a year. But you sent me the same letter 12 times, right? Like there's different names in every one of them,
That's
different phone
hilarious.
numbers or different people. And it's different people using the same template letter, right? Um, and they still want to sell me the land. Why didn't they call any of those other dozen people? I don't know.
It's amazing.
Well,
Yeah,
then I go back, for me, it goes back to your website because they looked you up. And this is one of the
yeah.
things I'm real adamant
Right.
about. Be transparent. I don't care if your websites have something there so they
Plus,
can
you answer
find
the
you.
phone.
And you answer the phone.
Yeah, maybe they made 12 calls and I was the one that answered. That
That's
might be
true.
That's
it.
exactly right.
That
Like a
could
real
be.
estate agent, you know, they just don't answer the
Yeah,
phone.
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
That
The
could be.
website's super powerful. The 5 acre story earlier today I was just telling you about. Guy's got 600 acres and he was looking at my website. He said he spent the whole day into the night looking at properties on my website and knowing like
Oh,
the different areas and streets and researching them. And he knows a lot of these areas. He used to be a land dealer and doing a lot of selling land on terms and everything. And he's like, "We got to do a deal. You got to sell this property for me." And I mean, 600 acres, and the guy wants to do. He's like bringing up the option agreement
that's
and
awesome.
talking me
Wow.
into it,
That's
and
great.
the prices. And I think there's $500,000 to be made if I don't
Yeah.
do much with it, but sell it. But he's telling me, you're splitting stuff up in these other areas. Why don't you split this one up?
That's
And
awesome.
so I think I'm going to try to split it up, split up this 600 acre thing into a bunch of, see how small the county lets me go. And I'll probably pay for the papering it up and putting it together and stuff. And he's got the land and
That's a perfect
I
partnership.
love it.
yeah. And I go market each and every one of them, maybe sell a couple of the lots that are close to the road to pay for roads to the back lots, something like that kind of deal. This guy's telling me about properties he's had that people dump tires on or washing machines, all the problems that he's had doing owner financing in the past. He's been through it. I mean, he still wants to do owner financing. He's willing to carry paper.
Oh my
He's
God.
willing to do
Luke,
it lot by
that's a
lot.
smoking deal for you.
Yeah,
Wow.
So you don't have to outlay any money except soft costs. Cut it all up and just collect money with the guy.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. And
That's
then he
beautiful,
says,
man.
we knock this one over. Wait till you see the rest of them. So
Right.
he's just tip of the iceberg kind of
Is it
guy.
flat? I mean, can you sub it up?
It's got views of beautiful mountains with trees, couple hours from San Francisco.
Oh my
Um,
God.
Oh,
yeah, like,
Oh my God.
now you got my
You should
attention.
get an RV and go out there and just
yeah,
and do that deal.
That's
I
cool.
think the lots, if you make them any kind of smallish lots, I could probably flood the market at 25 grand a piece. And yeah,
1,000 down, 500 a month.
yeah. And he'd carry the paper. I could negotiate up the terms. I'd do all the collection business, accounting, blah blah blah. But he could carry the paper on seller terms of each lot.
You would sell out of those.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
So
you'd sell out probably at 25 grand. 2 hours from San Francisco, you'd sell out in, I think, a month.
That's what this thing is all about. Look at this relationship that you've got with this guy.
Yep.
This is
yeah,
fantastic.
Exactly,
he,
Joe.
he looked at he got my letter and he looked at my website and he said, "This is for real. Like you got more than
Yep.
1,000 properties up for sale. Like what are you crazy?
Yep.
You're a
Yes.
go-getter. You're doing this. You can sell these things. Like look at all the ones you sold." He's looking at my sold properties.
Oh.
And
Perfect, man.
yeah, so
Yep.
it's just a
That's
template
awesome.
for future deals. I mean, just you do that with him, probably other guys like him will show up
Yep.
one way or another.
Word will get out
Yep.
Yeah,
at the Elks Club.
yeah, exactly. Should be fun.
That's awesome. All right, keep us posted, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's about it.
Yeah. Jack put his deal review. So it's open again for next Thursday. How many slots are open? Do you know, Jack?
I think there's 5 or 6 or 4.
Okay.
I don't remember.
All right, everyone. So that's available. And join us next week. Hope everybody has a great week, and thank you for joining
Yeah.
us. All right.
We'll see. Happy good acquisition week.
Yep.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
And thanks,
guys.
Luke.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.